In this episode, I explain the internet. I find YouTube comments, tweets, articles, and I explain them. First thing I'm trying to do is grow my beard back. I had it grow out to a substantial length, and then I ended up shaving it, which was not a good idea. I had instant regret once I shaved my beard. So I'm on the path of growing it again. There's a fucking fly in my apartment. The one fucking fly in my apartment. I don't even know where they come from. All the windows and everything is sealed tight. Now I know what a broken condom feels like. I told you, there's one fucking fly in the apartment. Okay, I'm gonna go wash this away. Where were we? Let's read some tweets. The first tweet. It is hard to win an argument with a clever person, but it's virtually impossible to win an argument with a fool. A clever person might use logic, might use data, might use facts, whereas the fool will just invent stuff on the fly. No pun intended. You can't argue with people who are just stupid. That includes a lot of trolls that you find or come across the internet. Totally avoid them. So these days what I do is when I'm on the internet, I'm looking at Twitter, YouTube comments. I actually take screenshots and I save them. And I'm like, okay, so when I actually sit down to record an episode, I'll have a whole bunch of content. Now that I'm looking at them, some of them are pretty controversial. Like, for example, this is a YouTube comment. Remember, guys, 95% of her beauty can be removed with a wet wipe. That is pretty awful. Okay, now I remember why I saved this comment. I grew up in India and this is purely based on anecdotal, my experience. Most of the women I was around, and I was around quite a bit because of the college that I went to, the ratio between men and women was for every 9 girls, there was one guy. More than 90% of the girls would not wear any makeup. They would just have a very natural look. There was no evidence of fake eyelashes, implants, any of that stuff, or excessive makeup on the face. Most of the women I knew at the time would be natural in their look. And I somehow appreciate that. I actually am drawn more to women who are natural and who don't indulge in like fake eyelashes, makeup. I mean, that's just my personal preference. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, for the girls who do it, great. You know, amazing that you go out of your way to get ready and look beautiful and pretty. I'm personally more drawn to natural looking girls. And I think that's basically what was going on when I saw that. And I was like, ah. Also, we live in this time where there's just so many filters we put on and we put out this perfect image of ourselves on the internet. I mean, what's real? What's fake? I mean, of course, some girls do it really well. They do very subtle, minimal makeup, but only a very few, I think, know how to do it really well. The next tweet goes, I just made coffee at home. Only 12,530,627,811 cups to go before I can retire a multimillionaire. By saving $3 on coffee every day, you're not going to become a millionaire. It's the big expenses that you need to cut out of your life that will really make the impact. Let's take an example. You stop buying coffee every day, let's say at work or at lunchtime or when you go for a walk, whatever that looks like. But at the same time, you're spending $500 on a gym membership that you never use. Cancel the gym membership, continue drinking the coffee. It's so important to look at spending not only from a pragmatic, analytical, practical approach, but also from the emotional side. Here's what I mean by that. Little things that give you joy, don't stop doing them because you're just going to be dissatisfied on a day-to-day basis. So if there are things that you enjoy doing, invest in those things. In fact, there's a podcast with Ramit Sethi and Tim Ferris. I'll link that in the description below where he talks about how most of the things that we really like or really fancy are actually not that expensive to do. I'll link that episode below. This is another YouTube comment that I read. Real high value men are emotionally intelligent. This is a really big one. I often see so many leaders and managers who are not self-aware and are not empathetic to people around them, and they just live sort of in their own bubble. So I think that's a really important trait for a high value alpha guy to have. They have a purpose. They take care of themselves. Yeah, they eat right. They work out regularly. They exercise. They don't need to be jacked and have deltoids. They have high self-esteem. They generate their own self-esteem. Well, if you're kind of grounded in your own reality, you're generating from within. You're intrinsically motivated. You're also not seeking validation from the outside. They are assertive, no power dynamics. This is especially helpful when you are in a room and trying to get a decision made. You're socially tuned to understand who is the decision maker versus the loud voice in the room. Are honest to their own value systems. They're not going to bend over backwards so that you will like them. They are unapologetically themselves. So you like them for who they are because they just don't give a fuck. Have a growth mindset. Also, they surround themselves with other high value guys. By the way, this applies to women as well. You know, high value men or high value guys. I think the list would be similar. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. So yeah, so high value guys will surround themselves with other high value guys because they feed off of each other and they create that network. And they also take responsibility. So when something goes down, they will take the responsibility and bear the burden and not let it go on their team. Whereas a low value guy will put the blame on another person versus being the leader and taking it on himself. By the way, let me know in the comments below what are other traits that should be on this list of being a high value guy. The difference between being woke and being awakened is that awakened has no agenda. All the people online who are telling you and finding reasons to tell you what to do, and under that woke category, you have all the social justice warriors, virtue signaling people. This reminds me of that book title, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. If there's things that you care about, you just do them quietly versus signal to everyone, look at what I did. By the way, if you're seeing my face for the second time, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, drop a comment below, do at least one of those things. Ooh, I really like this one. You are under no obligation to remain the same person you were a year ago, a month ago, or even a day ago. You are here to create yourself continuously. This makes a lot of sense. Now, if your ego is so wrapped up in who you think you are or who you think other people think that you think you are, or one of those combinations, you're just going to be stuck. Another way to look at it is you are not a sum of your knowledge and your ideas. Your ideas and knowledge can constantly change. You could even draw like separate tracks. So you're living your life and your knowledge and ideas keep changing. On this journey, as different stations arrive, old cargo or old knowledge gets dropped off and new knowledge and new ideas get put back on, and you keep going on this journey. So if you're not attached to your knowledge and your ideas and your ego and what you think you are, then you can continuously grow. Or another way to look at it is strong opinions held loosely. Have a strong point of view on the world and things around you, but don't be afraid to change it when new information is presented. Thank you, Mr. Feynman. Okay, let's read one final tweet. Friendly reminder, your customers don't care about what tool you use to make the thing. They care about the finished product. Use whatever tool works for you. Figma, Sketch, Illustrator, MS Paint, back of a napkin, stone tablet. I do understand the intent behind the tweet and it makes a lot of practical sense. What gear do you have? Or, did you use Adobe? Did you use Sketch, Figma, blah, blah, blah? So yes, don't get caught up in the tools. But let's say if you look at the medical profession, this would not apply to when you're buying medication or going in for surgery. You don't want to be getting operated on in a farm or in a barn. Although I'm pretty sure a lot of people did get operated in a barn. But now, today, in 2021, if you knew your appendix operation is going to be done in a barn with wooden tools versus, state-of-the-art hospital with the latest technology, are in like a surgically controlled atmosphere where the air is germ-free. I do understand the intent behind the tweet, which is really helpful, is don't get caught up in the gear or the tools you use, but it doesn't apply everywhere, okay? Let's squeeze one more tweet. Wealthy and anonymous is better than rich and famous. This is something I'm conflicted about all the time. Let's break that down. Yes, I do want to be known. I do want to be a public figure where people know me. I also want to be wealthy. Why can't that go hand in hand? I'm really conflicted on this. Let me know in the comments below what you want. Do you want to be wealthy and anonymous, or do you want to be rich and famous? Or do you want to be famous and poor? Or do you want to be wealthy? Okay, there's no other combination that I can think of. From all the things that we just talked about, let me know your point of view. I do want to give a shout out to Joseph HQ, a regular contributor and person who posts comments on my YouTube videos. DM me on Instagram your email address, and I'm going to send you a $10 Amazon coupon. Thank you for watching my videos and commenting. I really appreciate it. Just as a thank you. Okay, I'll see you guys next week.